What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. People who tuned in for the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show last night at the big game were pleasantly surprised to see that they had attached a trailer for all the series coming out on Disney Plus in the next 18 months, including WandaVision and the brand new Loki series that just started filming under 2 weeks ago. What's even crazier, how many Easter eggs they were able to cram into just a 30-second TV spot, and one of the biggest was most probably the TVA written across the prisoner's jersey, in which we can clearly see Loki. TVA in Marvel Comics standing for Time Variance Authority, something that's been in Marvel Comics for quite a while. We're going to break down exactly what their role during the Loki television show will be, how they sort of monitor the time-space continuum and the multiverse, and what exactly it means for all of the shows coming up in Marvel Phase 4 leading into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel-related stuff, including a limited edition Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So how nice and nostalgic it was to see 2012 Loki on full display. He's grown so much over the last 10 years, it's almost hard to remember how much scorn and fire marked his character at the beginning of the arc, but that's important because that's the version of Loki we'll pick up with at the beginning of this series. And although it's unclear how much time has passed since last we saw him grab the Tesseract and teleport to parts unknown in this timeline's universe, and now in the custody of the Time Variance Authority, this is the Loki that's hell-bent on destruction, dominating, and being a dictator really over any population that'll have him, and most likely that's what's led to his run-in with the TVA as seen here in the trailer. Now, if you've never heard of the Time Variance Authority, their job is to monitor the multiverse, prune timelines that they quote-unquote deem too dangerous to exist. They also take action to prevent beings from altering the past or the future. If you're thinking Rick and Morty Time Police, that's exactly right, and this gets even more Rick and Morty when you find out they were created by Walt Simonson and the legendary Sal Buscema to all be clones of one Mark Grunwald, the in-house continuity expert at Marvel. The obvious joke apparent, exactly like the Council of Ricks in Rick and Morty, only adding fuel to the fire that Dan Harmon may just need to return to Marvel Studios and work on this Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness to make sure they can cleanly navigate the narrative that he's so good at and that has offered so many plot holes to writers in the past. Now, getting back to their job to be able to prune the timelines that they deem too dangerous, what does that mean for the Avengers Endgame timeline, which Thanos was able to wipe out half of the population and then annihilate the Infinity Stones? The Ancient One was pretty clear in her description. If the Infinity Stones don't exist, it opens up the timeline to the deepest of horrors. Why the TVA didn't intercept that timeline then is yet to be explained, as well as them intercepting people who mess with the past and the future. Why did he not stop the Avengers from going back in time? Why did he not stop Thanos from going forward in time to stop the Avengers, or at least try at the end of Avengers Endgame? There's a lot of explainers that need to be had as to why they haven't intervened already, as well as an explainer for why I've now referred to the TVA as both they and him and them in the same paragraph over the last minute. And that's because the lowest ranking members of the TVA are basically faceless chrono monitors. They're robots like a hive mind, one steps up after the other. It's at the manager level that you get the clones of Mark Grunwald, and this major casting announcement of Owen Wilson may mean he's not just playing one of the managers at the TVA, rather he's playing all of the managers at the TVA. And when you think about the type of actor that Owen Wilson is, the stuff he's been cast in before, and then you add this twist to his casting, it seems like the perfect role for Owen Wilson in the MCU, maybe outside of a named character like Justice Peace. Again, first appearance in Thor #1, and also leading to the possibility that Owen Wilson may continue in the MCU if his character is needed to cross over at a later time. Speaking of which, this is obviously all leading to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's why we mentioned Dan Harmon's name before. He worked some on the very first one, and we know with the departure of Scott Derrickson recently from Doctor Strange 2, his name more than any other has been tied to this kind of project. Obviously with Rick and Morty, he's proven that he understands these higher concepts of the multiverse, of quantum physics, more than aptly enough to do it in the MCU. Real talk, if you've never watched it before, there's more density in about 5 to 10 minutes of some Rick and Morty episodes, especially something like their most recent time travel episode, than maybe in all of Dr. Selvig's dialogue across all his movies, and especially when you compare it to something like the scene where Tony Stark comes up with time travel. Obviously, it served its purpose, and they didn't want to get bogged down in that. It's the same reason they didn't show him inventing the Infinity Gauntlet, which, quick side note, I think was a huge miss, because we love to see Iron Man invent things. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, why didn't we get like 15 minutes of that in the final movie? And I would say that I'm digressing, but I'm not, because this leads me directly to my point. If you want to have these awesome and insanely intelligent conversations and make awesome points and then play within continuity rules in something like the multiverse or with time travel, you have to do it very carefully, or it leaves enormous plot holes. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I was completely surprised they were able to get away with it in Avengers Endgame relatively unscathed. Plot holes be what they may, they were able to steer clear of a lot of the things that would have bogged them down, especially in some very obvious situations. If you bring someone like Dan Harmon on board to be able to navigate that, or it doesn't have to be Dan Harmon, but just rather writers and directors who aren't only able to work within the bounds of this material, but that really understand it well, well then the quality of what Marvel tries to do is they work their way into the multiverse, especially going forward over the next decade, is only going to rise commensurate with the people that they get to work on it. And look, I'm just going to speculate here, but this is a far cry from the horror vision that Scott Derrickson originally put forth years ago, and you can easily see why he might have not been the right man for the project. It looks like Doctor Strange is going to have to work in a way that a lot of people weren't anticipating before, and now with the shuffle of the slate over at Marvel Studios, where Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be, and with what they might now want to do as far as a cosmic crossover, they may need it to serve a different purpose and be this sort of sci-fi film, this sort of explainer and glue that pulls it all together in a way that a horror movie or what Scott Derrickson didn't want to do or wasn't able to do. Again, full speculation, but good on Marvel for recognizing that maybe the match here wasn't exactly right given the genre. And it's my hope that if they're going to continue to do this sort of stuff and we're going to see anything to do with the multiverse, if they're going to continue to involve time travel, that they do bring someone like Dan Harmon on board. I know I keep bringing his name up, but we haven't talked about him a lot at the channel, and I absolutely love his work. There's a marked intelligence to the quality that he brings, and it's not that Marvel Studios doesn't do that. James Gunn's work is extremely intellectual, same so for the Russos, but if there is a clear-cut decision over at Marvel Studios to expand inward into the multiverse rather than directly outward into the cosmos, bringing someone on who understands this material obviously is going to be the best play. And one final thought I'll leave you with as far as Scott Derrickson, it's not to say he couldn't have handled this material. He may have been able to do it justice and do it well, but his vision for a horror movie for Doctor Strange is actually more in line with what I remember from him, visions of the occult, a lot of imagery of that. You can see where he wanted to do justice by the original comics and by the character Doctor Strange, but also that those are two distinctly different films, and there may be room for that sort of Doctor Strange material in an upcoming film, but it's very clear that Marvel Studios needs this Doctor Strange installment to take care of the multiverse in a way that maybe Scott Derrickson didn't want to or felt that he wasn't best suited to. Guys, let me know what you think in the comics about all of this. First, had you ever heard of the TVA, the Time Variance Authority? They're pretty obscure, and it's crazy that they're doing this. B, how hilarious is it going to be if Owen Wilson is playing the manager that I said he was, this, and we end up getting a ton of Owen Wilsons in one? And guys, how hype are you for the return of Loki in this Loki series? I gotta be honest, out of that entire trailer, when they ended with that scene of him saying, "I'm gonna burn this whole place down," I was like, absolutely, I am so ready for more Loki. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff. Before I let you go, we're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 600,000 subscriber mark. We just gave 1 away at 550 and 2 away at 500. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes here at the channel, like the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We just gave the first one away on New Year's Eve. We'll be giving this one away on the 2nd anniversary of the channel in April. If you want to be entered to win this, either of the PlayStations or any of the other future prizes we give away, as we will be doubling down the rest of the year and next, hopefully all the way up to 1 million, and adding awesome prizes, not only Marvel related, but stuff like Oculus Rift VR headsets and the ones that are standalone, so you don't need the computer to run them if you win. Like I said, if you want to win any of the prizes, all the same rules will always apply. hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners are announced in video, and if you've missed any of the past winners, no worries. All you have to do is scroll back through the channel, look for the winner announcement plus the subscriber mark in the title, hit that, scroll to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.